Jesse James's affair cost him more than his marriage with Sandra Bullock. Many fans were surprised when Sandra Bullock tied the knot with Monster Garage star Jesse James in July 2005. Less than 5 years later, their marriage was rocked by scandal when numerous women came forward with claims that they'd all been involved in illicit affairs with James during his marriage to Bullock. James even issued a public apology to Bullock and tried to save face by checking himself into rehab. However, it was too little too late for the relationship, and Bullock wound up filing for divorce in April 2010. Although there had been many celebrity breakups that have hit fans particularly hard, this wasn't one of them. As people came to realize, Bullock's marriage to James seemed doomed from the start. Bullock's persona as America's sweetheart was a stark contrast to James's hard-partying biker vibe. Additionally, James was Bullock's first husband. However, Bullock was James's third wife. Ultimately, being publicly embarrassed by her philandering husband and going through a very public divorce was yet another tragedy Bullock has had to overcome in her life. However, the public support was clearly in her favor, and James found out the hard way that his affairs would cost him dearly. The high-profile scandal didn't just ruin his marriage, however, it also cost him his career and his reputation. James didn't do himself any favors either when he began speaking his mind, and people quickly realized just how unlikable he could be. A year after his divorce, James wrote a tell-all memoir and began to both shirk responsibility for his actions and badmouth his Oscar-winning ex-wife as he torpedoed his own career. Jesse James tried to argue that his marriage-ending infidelity was no big deal. After stirring up a major scandal by cheating on the nationally beloved Sandra Bullock, newly minted pariah Jesse James found himself frantically trying to keep his head above water amid wave after crushing wave of negativity and public criticism. To this end, he penned an autobiography, American Outlaw, in which he tried to frame himself as a troubled but well-meaning screw-up who had to overcome a tough life to become a self-made star. To promote this story, he sat down for an interview with Men's Journal in March 2011 and did nothing to try to win back public approval. "I never shied away from anything I did. I took full responsibility," James told the publication via Today. "I cheated on my wife. Guess what? So do millions of other men." James shrugged off the negative press generated by his dalliances with other women, while also acting dismissive of his marriage to his ex-wife, whom he'd moved on from with tattoo artist and TV personality Kat Von D. "I was never 100% in," James said, of his third failed marriage. He later told Nightline, via ABC News, that Kat Von D, whom he began dating in August 2010, was the first woman that I've ever trusted. Despite getting engaged in January 2011, James and Von D wound up calling off their engagement. Subsequently, James went on to get married a fourth time to drag racer Alexis DeJoria in 2013, before divorcing in 2020. In June 2022, James exchanged vows with adult film star Bonnie Rotten before getting divorced yet again in November 2024.